So guys, can you please change your name like whoever mentioned like name someone has mentioned Vivo. Can you mention your name? So guys, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Okay. I hope I'm audible, right? So guys, in our last discussion, we have seen how we have like configured the interface of the FortiGate firewall management interface, right? How we assign the IP address to the management port and how we take the GUI access of the firewall, right? So today we will try to build some lab. Okay. We will try to build some policy. Okay. We will try to create some zones and we will see how we can enable the firewall policy and we can enable the communication between those devices. Okay. First of all, this is the same lab that I have used in the last or the previous session, right? Let me show you. Here is my terminal is already opened. Okay, let me open the firewall as well. So guys, we have set the host name as a Delhi Firewall 01. As you guys can see here in my screen, it is showing Delhi Firewall 01, right? So this is the same lab that we have tested yesterday or in last session. So we set the password as admin. Okay, so I have logged in. So first of all, I need to check the IP address of my management port. So how I can check that? Show system interface, right? And then question mark. So here you guys can see we have a management IP configured that is 172.16.1.100, right? Now I'll go to the system, management system, and we need to make sure that our system must be in a same network, right? Then only it will be able to communicate or we can take the access from this server, right? First of all, let's verify the firewall. Oh, sorry, PC management PC's IP address, right? So it's in the same range, you guys can see. So let's try to ping the IP of the firewall 172.16.1.100. So yeah, it's pinging, right? So let's try to access the firewall now. Omkar, can you please go on mute? Okay, let me try HTTP. Guys, please be on mute. Please go on mute. Purple or Narendra, please go on mute. So yeah, we are getting the login page for the firewall, right? So I'll give the username as admin and the password is also set as a admin that we have set in our last discussion, right? Let me try to log in. Yes, we are able to log into the firewall, right? So guys, in our last session, in our last discussion, we have explored or we have seen what are the options available with our dashboard, right? Or how you can manage your dashboard. Or if you want to add something like add any widget in your dashboard, then how you can do that, right? I also shown you how you can change the host name from the CLI as well as from this GUI access of the firewall, right? So these are all the details available with the dashboard that we have already explored in our last session, right? So let me check the management interface first, right? How I can check the interface? For to check any interface or network related setting, you need to go to the network tab, and then inside your network tab you have an option for interfaces, right? So this is my management port, right? That we have configured with the CLI. Okay, so as you guys can see here, we have a SSH also enabled. Ping is also enabled on this interface. So we have already tried the ping So let's try to take the SSH from the management system. Let's see whether we are getting the access of the firewall from the management system or not. Okay, SSH access, right? So I'll go to the management system, putty, and then I'll type the IP address 172.16.1.100. Okay, SSH. Let's try. See, guys, I'm getting the CLI access of the firewall, right? Means it's working. Admin means it's working absolutely fine. Okay, show system interface. See, I'm able to log into the firewall. Okay, now let me try to disable it and let me see whether we are getting the option or we are able to access it or not. Okay, let's see whether these options are working or not. So what I'll do here, I will simply uncheck this SSH port, right? I'm disabling the SSH from this interface and I'll save the configuration by clicking OK. So here it is giving us a warning because it's a management port, right? So it is saying you might lose the connectivity, right? So I have disabled the SSH from this port, as you guys can see, but the ping is still open. Okay. Now let's try with another session. I'll open the putty again and let's see whether we are able to get the access of the firewall or not. 1.100, right? SSH. So see guys, this time we are not able to access the firewall, means it is working fine, right? So this is the way you can modify or you can allow deny services according to your need to the management interface, right? See here, we are not getting any connection for the SSH, right? So this is the way you can configure your management port or you can allow deny. Suppose I'm also disabling the ping. Let's see. As of now, it, it must be pinging, right? CMD, I'll go to the CMD. I'll try to ping the interface of the firewall. 172.16, sorry, 16, 1.100, right? I'll do the continuous ping. See, I'm able to ping my interface, right? Now I will just disable it. Let's see whether it is again giving us a warning, right? See guys, ping has stopped working, right? Once I disabled the ping option from the interface, so ping option has been disabled here. We are no more able to ping the management IP from the management system. Even it's a same range, right? So this is how you guys can configure your management port, okay? And you can allow deny the services as per your requirement or need, right? So this is how we can configure our management port, okay? And we can allow deny the services. Okay. Now, guys, if you want to configure the DNS for your FortiGate firewall, okay, so you need to go to the network tab, and then inside your network tab, you have an option for DNS settings, right? Here, you guys can configure the DNS for your FortiGate firewall, right? So as of now, we don't have any ISP provided DNS. So let me try with 888 global DNS, right? And 4.2.2.2. Okay. Now here it is giving us the options to select the ports UDP53 or what are the ports you would like to use. So by default UDP53 is used for the DNS services. So I'll use the DNS with the UDP455, right? So let's click OK. See. So this is how you can configure your 1, 2 primary, secondary DNS or tertiary DNS in this list. Okay. Either you can also use FortiGuard servers, right? So if you have an internal DNS server, then you can mention your internal DNS server here, right? So these are the settings you need to do, right? If you want to do many more settings related to the systems or this firewall, then you can go to the system settings, right? Inside your system settings, you have an option for the settings, right? When you will click on system settings, system and then settings, then you can see here you have an option to configure your host name, right? First of all, you can change your host name if you want to configure, then whatever you want to configure here, you can give your host name. Okay. Then we have a system time configuration settings, right? You can choose your time zone from this list, right? Whatever time zone you want to select, you can use from this menu, drop down menu, right? And you can select here your time zone, right? Then guys, we have an option for setting the time manually as well. Okay. If you have any NTP server available in your network, then you can have the NTP configuration here, right? If you want to go for the manual settings, then you can click on manual and then you can define your times here. Okay. Now by default, it is using HTTP port is 80 and 443. If you want to customize your ports, then you can also customize, right? We will try by customizing the SSH port. Okay. Let's go to the SSH port here. Let's say I don't want to use the default SSH port. I want to use customize SSH port, right? So let's try with 622. Okay. So I have enabled SSH service on the customized port that is 622 for this firewall. Now what I will have to do, I will have to enable the SSH service on my management port. Then I'll try to access it over the customized port, right? So as you guys can see here, it doesn't have the SSH access. So I need to allow the SSH over here, right? I simply go to the management port, then edit, and then here we have an option to select the services. So from this service options, I can select SSH. So let me choose SSH and then I'll click OK. So guys, SSH services, here you guys can see SSH is enabled now on this interface, right? So let's try with the 622 port, okay? With the IP 172.16.1.100. Okay, I'll go to the putty in my management system, right? And then I'll type the management IP of my firewall, that is 172.16.1.100, right? And the default port is it is taking double two. I'll customize it to 622, right? Now let's try. See guys, we are getting the access. Okay, see source system interface. So here you guys can see we are getting the access of our firewall CLI over the port 622 customized port. So guys, this is the way you can like customize your ports, okay, to do the hardening with the Fortinet firewall, right? So if you want to use any customized port, so this is the way you can do it, okay? System and then settings. In system settings, you have options to select the ports. Okay, I have just modified the default port to 655, right? Default port I have just used for 622, and then I tried the access. So it is working fine, right? Similarly, you can modify the as telnet port as well, right? In our real-time scenarios, we never prefer to go with the default ports, okay, for the security measures. Okay, we always use the customized port, right? Then we have idle timeout settings here. Okay, you can set the idle timeout setting for the time period it will be idle, then the session will be logged out, right? Then here you have an option to give the concurrent sessions, right? So we have allowed it so we can get the concurrent session here. Okay, then we have a SSO login for the cloud SSOs. We can allow the administrative login through the SSO as well. So these are the basic settings. Here you guys can configure the policies, password policy. How would you like to set the password policy, right? Admin. Okay. What are the maximum length? What is the minimum character you want to select it for? How many characters will be used, right? Allow password reuse or not, password expiration, all those things we can set. How many days you want to, after how many days you want to reset the password for the user, or password should get expired, you can set from here. Okay. Then guys, we have an option to select the language, then theme. Here we can select the multiple themes available, right? So these are some basic settings. Okay, this is the next generation firewall mode that we will discuss. We have a dedicated session for this. Okay, we will discuss this, and what is central net we will see in case of our net discussion, right? So these are some basic settings you can do with your firewall. Okay, or basic settings. After booting up your firewall, you need to do these settings, check these settings, right? So we will try to build some topology here today, right? And then we will see how we can allow the communication, okay, from one network to another network. Okay, let me take one router here. How we can take the router? Just simple right click and select the node, and then you can get the router from the list. Okay, I'm taking two routers here, right? One router I'll be connecting here, one router I'll be connecting here. Okay, so I'm connecting one port and second port, right? So port number 2 and port number 3. So first of all, let me turn on the devices. Okay, let the devices boot up. Okay, meanwhile we will be configuring the firewall ports. Okay, so what I'll give the let me write down the IPs here, what I'll be using. Okay, let's say 10.1.1 100 I'll use for my local area network here, right? And I'll use 20's network over here, right? In port number 2. Okay, similar same range of IP I need to give here also, right? In my router interface, right? So I'll give here IP 10.1.1, sorry, 20.1.1, right? And then similarly, one IP I'll assign here. And then we will try to establish the communication between them through the firewall policy, right? Okay, this is our setup. Okay, let's see how we can configure it. So first of all, I'll configure the firewall ports since my firewall is already up. Okay, port number 2 is 20 and port number 3 is. So what I need to do, I need to come into the network tab and then interfaces. And in interfaces, we can go to the port number 2, right? Okay, port number 2 is already configured with the different IP that we have used in our previous sessions. So here we can give alias. Let's say I'm giving alias here as a DMZ, right? So what IP I want to assign here? 20.1.1.100 as per our topology, right? I will assign /24 and I want to allow ping only, right? So that's fine. Uh, Here we have option to select status also. It is enabled. Okay. Now my port is up, right? DMZ port is up. Now my second port is port number 3. Okay. So in port number 3, we have decided to give IP of 10.1.1.100. So for alias, let's say I'm assigning here LAN. Okay. So I'll assign IP as we decided 10.1.1.100/24, right? And I will allow the ping IP, ping to this interface just to check the reachability, right? Here you guys can mention your ticket numbers. That's a best practice. Okay. Okay. So guys, my interfaces are configured in the firewall, right? Now let me go to the devices and let's see what is the status of our devices, right? Okay, no. And I will also, no. These are just treat them as a system. Okay, this is my DMZ machine, and this is my LAN local area network machine. Okay, here our task is to build the communication between these two devices, right? We will see how we can build the communication. What will be required from the firewall side? Okay, okay, it is still booting. No problem. So we need to configure the port number gig 0 by 0, and here we need to is also configure gig 0 by 0. Okay, let's wait for some time. Let it boot. Okay, now my router is up. As you guys can see, first of all, we need to go to the enable and then configure terminal. Okay, now let me choose the host. Let me configure the host name first, just for the recognition. Host name, let's say I'm using LAN device, right? Or LAN I can mention, right? Okay, now I need to go to the interface gigabit Ethernet 0 by 0 IP address 10.1.1.1, right? 255, 255, 255.0, and then no shut. What else is required? I also need to give the default route, or you can say gateway. I need to set the gateway for this in device. Okay. What will be the gateway for this device? IP address of our firewall, right? That is 10.1.1.100. 10.1.1.100, right? This will be the gateway. Okay. Now I will uh, write the configuration, do write. Let's try to ping the firewall IP address, or I can say gateway IP. Okay. Show IP interface brief. So yeah, it is fine. So let me check the default route, or I can say gateway. Yeah, it is also fine. Let me try to ping the firewall IP, since the IP we have enabled the ping, right? Okay, it's not pinging. Okay, we will check it. First of all, let's configure the DMZ device. Configure terminal. Okay. Host name, first of all, I will give DMZ, right? Interface gigabit Ethernet 0 by 0. IP address 20.1.1.1. 255.255. Sorry. 255.255.0. No shut, and then exit, right? Then I will also have to set the gateway for this device. IP route 0.0.0, 0.0.0. And what will be the gateway? Firewall IP address. Firewall DMZ side IP address. That is 20.1.1.100, right? This we have configured here. Okay. Then do, right, to save the configurations. तो पहुंच गए Guys, please mute yourself. 100 रुपए देना Please mute yourself. कितना दोगे हेलो Can you please mute yourself? 100 रुपए देना है ठीक है हमें फोन कर देना दे के जब जाना और सामान है वो निकालने से एक बार देख लेना तो छूट ना जाए ठीक Okay, so guys, as you can see, we have configured the IP address, that is 20.1.1.100. Let me check the gateway. Okay, for this device, show IP route. So yeah, gateway set with the firewall IP address, right? That is 20.1.1.100. Let me try to ping from here, 20.1.1.100. Here also, it's not pinging. Okay, let's check the firewall. What is going on here? Admin. Port number 3 is 10's network, right? And port number 2 is 20's network. Port number 2 is 20. And port number 3 is 10, right? I think we have used the different. Oh, sorry. Oh. I think VOIS 03. Oh, we have configured the opposite. We have done the opposite configuration here. So what I can do, I can remove the cable simply. That's why it is not pinging, right? I can remove the cable and I will swap the devices, right? Okay. Port number 2. Okay. Let me check, verify the configuration once again. Terminal, firewall, port number 3, 10.1.1.100. Port number 3. Oh,
चलो ठीक है, सामान अपना एक बार चेक कर
guys,
लेना
please mute yourself. IT.
ठीक है, फिर 100 रुपए दिए।
I'll remove the cable once again. Here we need to select the port number 3, right? So here I'll select the port number 3. Here I'll select the port number 2. Okay. Now it's fine. I think now it should ping, right? Okay. Ping 10.1.1.100. See guys, it is pinging, right? Now let me try from here also. Ping 20.1.1.100. Yeah, it is also pinging to the firewall IP address. Means the devices can reach to their gateway. Okay. Now, guys, here our task is to enable the communication from 10's like 10.1.1.1 to 20.1.1.1. So, can anyone tell me whether this communication will work? As of now, can we ping from this to like from the iOS 3 from LAN device to DMZ? In this current scenario, can we ping this? Can anyone tell me?
No, we can't pin
What is the reason?
because we do not have policy for this traffic.
Yes, because those are in different ports, right? And we don't have any policy. So see, we are not able to ping. So what we will have to do? We will have to create policy, right? In our firewall. So for allowing this communication, we will go to the policy and object, right? And in your policy and object, you have an option for creating the firewall policy, right? So I'll go to the firewall policy. Then guys, you can see here, once it is loaded, we have a one default policy available with our FortiGate, right? And this is implicit deny, means any and then deny. Any means traffic is coming from any source, it is going to any destination, and it is using any service. It should get denied, right? So this is the default policy available with your firewall. You can see here it is getting hit also, but we will not get any logs because by default the logs settings are disabled, right? It is getting hit because we have initiated some traffic, right? I have tried to ping from here, right? This is the reason. We can see the bytes here, right? Means the traffic bytes. Once I will refresh the policy, then you can see it is increasing, right? See, it is increasing, but it will not show you any logs. If you will go to the logs, then it will not show you any logs because the reason is the log settings are by default disabled. So it will become very difficult for you while doing any troubleshooting. So first of all, you always need to make sure you must have enabled your implicit deny policy logs settings, right? So how we can do that? We can go to the implicit deny policy and then add it, and then we can go to the, we can click, like we can enable this option, log IPv for violation traffic, right? Now it will start showing you the logs for your implicit deny policy, right? So you need to make sure while working in your production, you must enable this implicit log policy, right? So I'll go to the create new. Okay. Now I'll create one policy that is from LAN to DMZ, right? Now what will be? So guys, here you guys can see here, we have a different options to select. Now it is asking us to select the incoming interface. So can anyone tell me what will be the incoming interface here?
Port 3.
Yes, because it will receive the traffic on port number 3 because we are initiating traffic from LAN, right? And destination is my DMZ. So it will receive traffic from the port number 3, means port number 3 will be your ingress interface. Okay. So here we will choose port number 3. And what will be my outgoing interface? That is port number 2, right? Then we have an option to select source. So you guys can click here and then you can create your objects, right? Whatever subnet you want to allow, whatever IP you want to allow, you can create here, right? Suppose I want to go with the address. So here, let me choose network. Okay. I want to allow entire network 110/24. So I will mention it like that, like
Could,
this, right?
could you please explain what is object? And for every source IP, we will have to just create a object to create a
Yes,
policy for the traffic.
yes, absolutely. Objects are basically what you will be using inside your policies, right? What you will be using your net policy, what you will be using your security policy. So those are known as objects. Like we have different type of object. These are the types of objects available. Like if you can define the subnets here, if you want to allow the IP range, then you can define the IP range. If you have any FQDN, okay, fully qualified domain name, then you can define here, right? So these are all the object types available here. Okay. So as of now, I want to go with the subnet, let's see, because I want to allow entire LAN segment. Okay. Entire LAN subnet. Okay. So here, if you will select subnet as your type, okay, object type, then you will give IP and then your subnet mask. So my IP is 10.1.1.0/24 and my subnet mask is /24, right? So you need to mention like this. Okay, now here you also have an option to select interface. So this is not mandatory. Okay, so static route configuration, if you want to give, then static route will be automatically created for this. So we do not want this configuration as of now. Okay, so I'll go with the okay as of now. So if you will click again to the plus button, then you can see the object that we have just created here, right? It is showing you the network ID and then the subnet mask, right? So we can select like this. Okay. Now, second destination, which destination you want to allow it for? Let's say I want to allow it for the entire DMZ. Okay. Entire DMZ network. So how I can do that? Similarly, network and then 20.1.1.0/24, right? So this is my IP and the subnet mask. So I'll go with the subnet. type is my subnet, right? Okay, I'll remove the minus from here, and yeah, we are good to go. Okay. Now my destination is also created 20.1.1.0. Now, if you want to allow this, like if you want to give time-based access, then you can apply the scheduler here, right? So as of now, I do not want. So if you want to allow, like if you have got any request to allow for 1 hour access, okay, then you can go here and then you can create your timer, okay, one time schedule or reoccurring schedule or schedule group you can also create, right? So one time, let's say if you want to allow for 1 hour, so you can mention it like this, okay, whatever date you have, let's say 30 May, 1 hour policy, okay, 1 hour's policy, okay. So here we have an option to choose the colors as well. If you want to choose, then you can choose, okay. So 1 hour, as you guys can see, it is showing 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So this is how you can create your time-based policies, right? Either it can be a reoccurring or one time, okay. Reoccurring means repetitive. Okay, so as of now, I do not want to go with the time base. So let me choose always. Okay, scheduler always. So what service we want to allow? Let's say I want to allow all ICMP. Okay, now guys, here it is showing us to choose the inspection mode. So as of now, we will not change anything. We will go with the flow based. Okay, in our upcoming sessions, we will see what is the difference between the flow based and the proxy based, right? So as you guys can see here, now next option is available as a net. So do you want to go with the net? Like you want to configure the net for this policy or not? No, as of now, I do not want to enable the net because my traffic is going from LAN to DMZ. It is all internal traffic, right? So I am not enabling any net over here. Okay, now we have an option to choose the security profiles like antivirus, web filter, all those profiles we can choose from here, right? We have also a dedicated session for this security profiles, how these profiles work, how you can attach, okay, what are the different filtering you can do with these type of security profiles, okay, that we will see in the dedicated video. As of now, we are not going with the profiles selection here, okay. So here it is giving us option like, would you like to enable the login or would you want to see the logs for this policy? Yes, I want to see, right? Now, generate log when the session starts. When you want to generate the logs when the session is started. Yes, I want to see the logs when the session is started. So here you guys can mention your ticket number, whatever ticket you have received from your management, right? For opening this communication. So this is always a good practice to mention the ticket number in your comment box. Okay. Then in last, you have an option to select enable or disable the policy, right? So you need to make sure you will click on enable policy and then you can click on finally OK, right? So this is how we can create policy in our FortiGate firewall, right? So as you guys can see here, policy has been created. Now we have two default view options available for the policy tab. That is interface pair view, right? First option is interface pair view, means interface pair wise policies will be available. Means all LAN to DMZ, whatever policy you will be creating, all the LAN to WAN policy will come inside this tab only, right? Similarly, when you will create in reverse, then it will be in the WAN DMZ to LAN. Okay. Now second option is available by sequence. Okay. So sequence, as you guys can see, it looks like this. Okay. So as of now, you can see we don't have any session created. So it is showing 0 bytes. Okay. Let me try to initiate the session and let me see. Before it was not working, right? we were not able to ping from LAN to DMZ. Now this time let's try whether it's pinging or not. Enable, sorry, I have given the wrong command. Okay, let me log into the firewall meanwhile. Yeah. So guys, anyone has any anyone have any doubt in this creating the security policy with FortiGate or configuring the IP addresses with the FortiGate?
One thing I have to ask from you, from
Uh-huh.
where we can see the object, how many object is
I'll show
configured
you.
on FortiGate,
Yeah,
FortiGate
I'll show you.
firewall?
Yeah, I'll show you. Let's see this whether it's working or not first, right?
Okay, 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 no
Show
issue.
IP interface brief. So my IP is 10.1.1.1. So I'll ping 20.1.1.1. That is my DMZ machine IP, right? Before we have tried it, it was not working. Let's try this time. See, it's working, right? So we are getting the ping response from the DMZ machine. So let's check the policy, whether our policy is getting hit or not. I'll refresh it simply, right? So as you guys can see here, we are getting the traffic or our policy is getting hit, right? Means everything is working as expected, right? So now if you want to analyze, like if you want to see the traffic or you want to see the logs, then you can also verify the logs from the logs and report and then forward traffic. So here you guys can see traffic is being initiated from the source 10.1.1.1 and it is hitting the destination 20.1.1.1. And if you will want to deep dive this or if you want to get the detailed log, then you can double click it, right? And while double clicking it, you can see here the source port, how it is mentioned very clearly, right? Source portion, it is showing traffic is coming from 10.1.1 and source interface, it is taking as a port number 3, means traffic is coming from port number 3, right? And destination IP is 20.1.1.1 and destination port is port number 2, right? And what service we are using here? We are trying to ping the destination. So service is ping. So here you guys will see whether we are getting the trans byte or receive byte or not. So here it is not showing anything, but in real scenario you will see trans and receive byte also here, right? So here you guys can see session has been accepted by the firewall and it is started, right? And it is hitting the policy that we have just created, LAN to DMZ. And policy ID, here you guys can see it is mentioned in bracket 1. 1 means it is our policy ID. So how you can check the policy ID? You just need to go to the network, not sorry, you need to go to the firewall policy and object, and then inside your object you can go to the policy, and here you'll get an option to put the in a top left corner you have an option for settings, right? In settings you can choose the ID, policy ID. Let me choose ID hit count. Okay, so this is how you can modify your policy views. Okay, so here you guys can see this is our policy ID 1. So
One thing, policy
yeah.
ID create automatically or we create the policy ID?
No, no, we just created a policy, no?
No, no, we have created a policy. Policy ID is generated automatically.
Yes, yes, it is generated automatically. While creating the policy, I have not given anything, right? Policy ID 1, 2, I have not given
Okay.
anything. Okay. So it is created automatically. Okay. So as you guys can see here, it is showing 1, right? So in our traffic logs, I have also shown you, right? In bracket, it was showing 1. So that means that is your policy ID, right? So by this, you can identify which policy it is hitting, right? Here it is showing policy name and in bracket, it is showing policy ID. Okay. So is this clear, guys? Or anyone have any doubt in
Yes,
this?
it's clear. But can we see the same traffic on CLI?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
So what is the command to see the traffic on CLI? That is get system session list. Okay. So here you can see we have a multiple sessions created, but there is no 10.1.1 pinging to 10.2. Sorry, 20.1.1.1. So let me try it again. Let me generate some traffic. Okay. Let me run the command again. 10.1.1.1. Here you guys can see ICMP protocol, right? Source is 10.1.1.1. Okay. And the source port is 7. Source port is always random, right? So it is using, it is hitting the destination 20.1.1.1. Okay. So this is how you can see the sessions in your session table. Now, guys, I have one question for you. Can anyone tell me whether we will be able to ping from this DMZ to this LAN with this
No,
existing
no. We can't ping
configuration?
because we do not have reverse policy.
Yes, we do not have reverse policy. That is why it will not work, right? Uh, it is a stateful firewall, right? But stateful firewall maintains the session table. So uh, ping reply will come on the basis of the firewall session table. But whenever the traffic will be initiated from your DMZ to LAN, that will not be acceptable because here the traffic is generated from the 20.1.1.1. And this time our source will be inside your port number 2. So this is the reason it will not work. Okay. So I think everyone is getting this, right? Or anyone have any query? Let me show you also, right? Ping 10.1.1.1, right? See, guys, we are not able to ping in the reverse direction because we do not have the policy. So it will be denied by the default implicit policy of the FortiGate, right? Since we have enabled the log, we can fetch the details this time. Okay, it might show, it will show here, right? See, here it is clearly mentioning policy violation, means you do not have policy to allow this traffic whenever your traffic is generated from 20.1.1.1 and it is going towards 10.1.1.1, right? So we are getting the policy violation. Okay, so is it clear to everyone?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, so someone was asking how we can check like the what are the objects where how we can check the objects in our FortiGate. So
Yes,
to check
yes.
the objects, you can go to the policy and objects, right? In
Okay.
policy and object, you have an option here, addresses, right? You can click on addresses, and then here you can see the addresses that we have just created. That is N 10.1.1.0/24 and 10.1.1. Sorry, 20.1.1.0/24. And rest of the addresses are the default addresses available with the FortiGate, right? You guys
Okay.
can see here some, yeah, some FQDNs are also there, right? Some address groups are there. Okay. You can also use address group here, right? Suppose if you have two groups, two LAN groups, then you can group them, right? Like I have used this subnet. Okay. If you have one more subnet, let's say 10 and then 11, right? Let's say 10 and then 11. So it is always a good practice in your production environment to keep like to create objects and objects group, right? So I'll create this same type of object here, right? And then if these two subnets, let's say these two networks are behind my this port 3 only. So what I can do, I can create a group for them. If you, I want to allow them for the DMZ network, right? So how I can do that? I can create address group. So here I can mention LAN group, right? And I can group my addresses here, 10 and 11, right?
Okay.
So now my address group is created. See, LAN group, right? So
Okay.
if I want to use this LAN group with my policy, then I can also use it with my policy, right? I can go to the policy and I will edit this policy from here, right? And I'll simply remove it because I want to choose the group this time, right? Here it is showing my LAN group, right? So I
Okay.
can choose my LAN group, right? So now the traffic from the 11 and 10 will be allowed towards 20s network,
Okay.
right?
Suppose
So
that we have created multiple SVI, right? Then we can
Mhm.
also group that SVI.
Yes,
Okay.
grouping, but grouping SVI will not make any sense, right? We are creating SVI just to create the gateway for our VLANs, right? So grouping SVI will not make any sense. Suppose here we have a 11th network available, okay? Configure terminal, interface loopback 1, IP address, let's say 11.1.1.1, right? And 255.255.255.0, okay? Do show IP interface brief, okay? So we have already defined the policy. So will it work? I will be able to ping or not? Can anyone tell me? Source interface loopback 1. Will it work? Guys, can anyone tell me why it's not working?
I think we do not have gateway.
For which 11th network?
Yes, 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 yes.
See, 11th network is configured only this LAN device, right? This is having, see, sorry, do show IP interface brief. If I will show you do
In
show IP,
services, or in services, do you want to define the pings service we can allow?
we have defined, na? We have already defined the ping service. Here you can see, na? From
So
LAN.
11 networks is not configured on route to FortiGate, I think. So
Yes,
because of that, we are
correct,
unable to access.
correct. Because our firewall doesn't know about the 11th network. If you will see here, get router info routing table details. So this is the way you can check your routing table in your FortiGate. So here we do not have any understanding of 11th network, or our firewall doesn't know about the 11th network. So what we can do here, we can create one static route, right? Let me give one static route for 11th network, right? And then let's see whether it's working or not. Okay. So we will see all those settings, okay, in very brief, or you can say in very detailed manner, how routing works in a case of FortiGate, right? How we can perform the netting, all those concepts. Okay. So what will be the next stop? 10.1.1.1, right? And interface will be my LAN interface, right? So now we have defined one static route, right? Let me run the command again. So yeah, now it knows about the 11th network. For 11th network, it needs to forward the traffic towards the 10.1.1.1, right? Now let's try. Okay, I'll give the same command, ping 20.1.1.1 source interface loopback 1. See, it's working, right? Right? We can also validate the traffic in our firewall. Okay, we can go to the logs. Here you guys can see we are getting the traffic from the 11.1.1.1 and it is hitting the target 20.1.1.1 and it is hitting the same policy, that is LAN to DMZ, policy ID is 1, right? So I hope this is clear to everyone, or anyone have any doubt, then you can ask. So this is the way we can do the simple policy creation, right? So slowly we will move forward and we will see how we can configure the different type of policies with our FortiGate firewall, how we can do the netting with our FortiGate firewall, what is source net, how many types of source net are there with our FortiGate firewall, right? What is destination net, in which scenario you will use source net, in which scenario you will use like destination net. Okay, we will create real-time scenarios in our lab. Okay, so guys, is it clear? Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyone wants to ask anything? Any query?
Yes, I have one query.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Regarding the system setting. Can you just go there on the firewall where it is showing the some certificates in the system under the system settings.
Okay. System settings. Okay.
Scroll it down.
Mhm.
Just it's showing some certificate is there. That's what
Yeah,
is
that
it?
is
What is the use of
this is your HTTPS certification, HTTPS certificate to access your firewall over a secure port. Okay. As you guys can see here, we are getting the not secure. Okay. If you want to secure it, you can attach the certificate here, right? CSIM certificate that we will discuss in brief, in
So
detail,
it will become
right?
in next classes.
Yes, we have a
Okay.
dedicated, like we will discuss this, how the certificate management works with FortiGate. Okay. What
Okay.
is, how you can attach HTTP certificate. Okay. All those things we
Okay.
will see.
Also,
Practically.
can I change the telnet port as per my requirement?
Yes, absolutely. You can customize it. Like we have configured the SSH port, na? You can also do, you can
Right.
also configure from
So
here, right?
do we use in real environment?
Yes, we always use customized port in real environment. Not the telnet service. Telnet is not at all used, right? We always use
Uh,
SSH, but in SSH also we use customized port only for the
Okay.
security users, right? We never
Okay.
use default ports for FortiGate
as,
for
uh,
firewall access, right?
as I know that telnet is not recommended for that. Is it
Yes,
recommended after
yes.
the customize? Can we use it? I mean, it is
No,
safe.
no. That is not secure, right? But if you will customize it, that will not create, like that will not be secured. Okay. So
Hmm.
for that reason, we always prefer SSH in real environment, and with SSH also we use customized port.
Even after customize the telnet port, it is not.
Yes, even after the customization, it will not be secure. Just the port will be different, but it will not provide you the secure connection, right?
Okay. Sir, hello.
Yes. Tell me.
Sir, can you explain me what is the flow-based policy and proxy-based policy?
Flow based and proxy based, yeah, we will discuss that. We have a dedicated session for it. Okay.
Vaiji, regarding DNS, we have configured all the DNS like default DNS, we
Uh-huh.
888 or 4.2.2. But post that, client machine is not taking the DNS. It's taking the IP through the DHCP, but it's not taking the DNS. What could
No,
be the
we
reason?
have not. No, we have not enabled the DSCP in our local area network or in our DMZ as of now, right? I have
No,
just
no,
configured the.
no, you have not configured, but I have a scenario like this. That's why I'm asking it.
What
What
scenario?
could be the I have configured the DHCP.
Uh,
Client one is taking the IP from the DHCP, and I am using the DNS default DNS, right?
hmm.
888 and 444. But the client machines are not taking. Policies is working fine. Everything is fine, but client
You
machine
need
is
to
not
check the,
taking the
yeah, you need to
DNS.
check the DSCP settings there. Okay. By the
Then
DSCP
DHCP
only
setting.
the DNS will be assigned.
Okay, so the
You need to check
DHCP
the
need to be
DSCP.
troubleshoot.
Yes, you need to check the DSCP properly. From the DSCP, you can choose what are the settings you need to push to the machines, right? If you want, then we can
Okay.
check that.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay, guys. So we are done for today. I think we will reconvene. Okay, with the next session. Okay, you can coordinate with Neha ma'am. Okay, regarding that.
For the next session, Rohitji.
Yes.
Rohitji, one more thing. Actually, yeah, last session was not. I'm not joined because I don't have the link. So can I see this last session on my somewhere else? Like it's,
Yes. You can get
recording
the recording video. No problem. We will share you the recording video. Okay.
on the mail ID, right?
You can coordinate with the Neha ma'am, right? Then you'll get from her. Okay. I'll be
I
sharing.
don't have her number. I have Soumya number.
Yeah. You can contact her. Okay.
Okay.
You will get all the details from her regarding the classes, regarding the notes that we will be providing. I'll be providing, right? All the lab guides that I'll be sharing, you can collect from her. Okay.
What will be the time of this session? What will be the time of this
It will be
class?
1 hour and from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Right? From
Every
Monday to
Saturday,
Friday.
Sunday?
No, from Monday to Friday.
Okay, Monday to Friday.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, guys. So we are good to we are good for today. We will have a next discussion. Okay, probably on Monday. You can get in touch with Soumya ma'am. She will update you. Okay, regarding the further discussions. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, sir. Bye bye.
Bye bye.